Hello and welcome to the Slapshot Syndicate podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and whilst you're at it, go and follow our social media pages. They're on screen now. Now, on to the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Slapshot Syndicate. Thanks for joining us again. You might notice a little bit of a difference about this week. I'm currently filling Azza's place behind the bar. Unfortunately, he's gone and prioritised earning money over a non-profit podcast. So some would say priorities aren't exactly straight there, but nevertheless. Right, good weekend?
Next weekend on the ice, off the ice, good weekend for you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, not too bad. We're going to have to do this bit, aren't we? Should go straight into the Saturday game.
Let's go into Seahawks Reacts.
Okay, so into Seahawks reaction. Starting on the Saturday game, we had Milton Keynes Lightning against Hull Seahawks. In Milton Keynes, unfortunately, where to be, was it?
Tough audacity this to go to MK for any team in the league. Never mind us with a short bench. Not making excuses there just before we start, but again, just want to reiterate that Milton Keynes are on fire at the moment, aren't they? And you actually watched the game this week, did you, Bradley?
I did, yeah. MK was on another level, to be honest with you. You can see they've really ramped up the momentum coming into the business end of this season. And we didn't really get out the blocks, if I'm quite honest. I don't think it was too bad. You can just tell we're short benched at the minute, yeah. And the energy wasn't really there for us to be able to compete with this MK team. So I think the score maybe is a little bit harsh on Hull Seahawks, especially when you take into account we had a clear goal disallowed.
Oh, we're not going to get into that. You weren't very happy about that.
No, I'll get into it because literally, I don't know how they've missed it. Seahawks posted the video and I watched the stream, and you can literally see the puck hit the back of the net and bounce out, and yet the goal doesn't stand. And the camera angle above MK's goal was clear. They had the perfect angle to look at that. So even if there were shouts of it being a goal, we've mentioned it before, maybe this is where we need some sort of
coach's challenge,
captain's challenge, an ability to review something that's just happened, because straight away, that could have turned the tide for us. We got the goal on the board and can't help but feel hard done by, to be honest with you. But for us, it was usual people coming up with the points. We got Bobby Chamberlain, Johnny Corneal. Yeah. Got some good assists. Obviously, Brutton getting on the board with an assist.
Nice to see that after his injury, isn't it?
Yeah. Barmer got 2 second assists as well, so he's really coming through at the moment. But this Milton Keynes team was just relentless throughout the full game. There was times where it looked like we might be able to just get a little bit back into it. It was building some momentum. Got some power plays, but we didn't convert on the power plays, which is sort of unheard of with our power play goal percentage this season. Just a tough one all around, to be honest, for us. Some standout performances from MK for me being Sean Norris.
We had the match on the night, wasn't it? I was going to ask you about that. How did he play?
He was fantastic. He was getting into it as well with some of our lads, which...
Physically?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very physical he was.
He's always been one that's known to be good technically, so I can imagine that as an MK supporter you'd love to see that.
Yeah, he was very good technically, but I didn't expect him to see him going in for the hits. I know he was getting into it with Barmer
really?
A couple of times, and I think he rubbed a few of the players up the wrong way and clearly got into the red, but he come away with some points. He got 2 goals on the night. So
hat-trick actually, hat-trick.
A hat-trick, he was definitely deserving of that man of the match performance, so fair play.
I think when we go to rings like this, and regardless of having a full bench, half bench, whatever, you've got to give credit where it's due, don't you? And I think everybody knows that Milton Keynes and Leeds are powerhouses this year, and I want to reiterate the word powerhouses because they just don't look like they've got any signs of stopping, do they? Every time they turn up to any rink or they're at home, and it's really hard to bet against them at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And both of these teams, it feels like it's more of a game of chicken at the moment as to who's going to drop points. Rather than who's going to go in and score the highest against another team, there really is just whoever drops points at the minute, potentially the league's out, gone and done from them. So,
and what an ending to the season that's going to make.
Absolutely.
So we talk about that's the top end of the playoffs. Let's talk about the bottom end of the playoffs and then go roll into Sunday night, Brad.
Yeah. So we obviously had Telford Tigers at home.
Currently occupying the 8th place, aren't they? And did we think that this was going to be an easier game than expected?
Oh, it was a very interesting game, wasn't it?
It was.
Frustrating to say the least as a Seahawks fan. We, again, similar to Saturday, we just didn't really seem to convert chances.
No.
We didn't really come out with the blocks and have that hunger, or I suppose we had the hunger, we just didn't have the final product. We was getting the odd chances, we just weren't putting them in the back of the net. It was that final product that was letting us down.
From my perspective, the way in which that Telford set up was really admirable, to be honest with you. I feel like their first line and second line really shut us down, to be honest. Like, for them to go 2-0 up away to us, where we like to sort of see the Hull Arena as some sort of like fortress where, teams will come and make it hard for them. You'd have never have had, like, watching them as a team, you'd have never have had an idea that they were in 8th. They came to us and really, really, like, gave it to us, didn't they? They went 2-0 up, then we brought one back through Chile. Go on, James.
Yeah.
And then obviously they went 3-1 up, didn't they? And it was almost like bloody hell, like, what's going on here? And the imports were on fire, weren't they?
Absolutely, and dare say it, although it was a bitter pill to swallow, I do think they deserved to come away with a win. It was
100%.
It was only in the last period where we started building some momentum and converting those chances. Ultimately, scoring that last goal to take it into overtime with 6 seconds, I think it was on the clock.
Yeah.
And for us as Seahawks fans, brilliant,
unbelievable,
absolutely.
Yeah, it was great.
Didn't it, the arena? So
at that point, we definitely was like, we're winning this, didn't we? But again, fair play. Do you want to carry on with what happened after that?
Yeah, so went into overtime. Unfortunately, didn't really get a look in at all with the puck.
No.
They won the face off. They kept control of it, and
you know what? When we got the puck back, we wasted it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I think, was it Barmer? He picked up the puck and he just let a loose pass go or something, and someone's got possession. They got it back, but hats off to Telford. They did what they needed to do. Devon Skaleski coming up with the points in the end in overtime. Obviously, you scored as well throughout the game, so it's credit where credit due.
Yeah, I just want to go back to those imports as well, though. Eric Henderson, David Thompson, sorry. How good they were, really good, weren't they? And actually, I think that one of them is the first man on the list for the enemy list of the Slapshot Syndicate. Not through personal, not through us.
No.
I'll say, but I think Aaron is not a big fan of one of those lads. We'll get onto that a little bit, maybe a bit later on.
Yeah.
But it really made for a top night, didn't it? This game, and we were having a little joke about, are you getting mauled by the Tigers and stuff, but that was based off inner belief that we were going to get back into the game and things like that. But a credit to Telford, they really were the better team on the night, I think. And although Matty said in the interviews after that we're carrying a lot of knocks. Deck Jones went off at one point, didn't he? And apparently he's got a bit of a back injury. We've got Bones back next week, which is great, and obviously we've got Davey and I think Sparesy back in light training and Stubbs.
Yeah.
But I think the focus now is going to be on
in the playoff run.
On a playoff run in our little group. But if they're 8th, I said this to you last night, didn't I? I said, if Telford are 8th, then bloody hell, the playoffs are going to be tough, because usually it's 1st, 4th, 5th and 8th, isn't it? That'll mean we've got MK, Sheffield currently, or Peterborough, which both of them will come and took points off us.
Yeah.
And Telford, like.
Oh, it's gonna be a tough deal. There's nothing else to say about it, really. But if you're writing this team off, then
Go full,
Yeah, don't, because they really did show that they've got that grit and determination to set these points, and if they're building this momentum now into the playoffs, I can see it making it really tough for teams like you say.
Yeah, I agree. Well, in terms of Telford and the rest of the league, Telford had quite a positive weekend, didn't they? So should we get into the weekend's fixtures?
Yeah, so that rounds up Seahawks reaction. Welcome back. So now we're going to go into the fixtures around the league for the weekend. Starting on the Friday, we had Leeds against Romford Raiders, so a bit of a repeat for what happened in the Cup. Do you want to talk about this one?
Oh man, you've got to feel for the Raiders here. 3-0 up inside of 6 minutes.
I know.
But ultimately, went to be. This is the story of Leeds. They're just a team where they will not give up, will they? And ultimately, on the night, coming out with a 9-6 victory, like, would you expect that after going 3-0?
Definitely not, to be honest with you. I mean, hats off to Raiders for getting that lead so
100%.
early on, but you've got to try and maintain it, and against this team, that's going to be hard. So I don't know how Leeds only scored their first goal at 22 minutes in. So into the second period, it's begs the question, doesn't it? How do you let a game go?
Just reflecting on that actually. Andrew Schufelt scored a goal in the 21st minute, so that means Raiders were 4-0 up. 4-0 up until the second period. So that means that Leeds have scored 9 goals in 2 periods. If you let them like
give them an initial
mate, 100%. Yeah. And fair play to them. They've got an attendance there of nearly 1,700, and I bet the place was bouncing after they went level or went even ahead. So
I mean, what are you thinking if you're Leeds and you start off and you're 4-0 down? Are you thinking, oh my god, MK must be laughing at us now? Some of their fans. It's a hell of a mountain to climb, it for any other team, I suppose. But we're talking about Leeds.
It probably shows you that they're ready to die rather than lose a game, and the fact that they were 4-0 down and they've come back to sort of win by that amount, then there's no stopping them. I'm telling you, I cannot call this title race at all, because we'll move on to MK's results and the rest of the league, and you can't call it anyway. Yeah.
So we'll move on to the Saturday fixtures on the 1st of March, starting with the Swindon Wildcats and the Peterborough Phantoms. Big 5-2 win for Peterborough.
A big surprise.
Did not see that coming, not going to lie. I know this Peterborough team are very good, but Swindon. And a 5-2 as well, didn't it, to get 3 goals. I could have maybe seen an overtime win going Peterborough's way, but
with the likes of who they've got in the forward line, to only put 2 away is quite surprising. And the depth that Swindon have got in defensively, and Rennie and in the net and stuff like that, it's a credit to Peterborough. That result, 5-2, is a big result, and it's a statement for the playoffs, as if to be like, if you count us out, what's going to happen? So fair play to them.
Yeah, then we had the Solway Sharks against Romford Raiders. That was 6-3 to Solway. So again, very interesting. I think Azza was talking about this one last week, and he mentioned how he could see it going either way, I think, but he also mentioned it being the double header of the weekend.
That's
both
right.
in Solway, so he thought one was going to take it one day and the other would take it the other day.
Yeah.
So look at what happened.
Well,
Come on to that one, but
well, yeah, that's true, and a 6-3 win for Solway. For the Raiders having to go to Leeds and have that tough night, and then go right again up to Solway.
Yeah.
It's a tough ordeal. That 15 goals in 2 nights. I'm sure that Ethan James would have been very happy about that one.
Yeah, but what a call for Aaron. I was just thinking about how niche that is to call it, and for him to do it.
He knows his stuff, has he?
He does. I hate to say it, but he does know his hockey, that lad.
We'll give you credit when you're not here.
Okay, so moving on, we had the Bristol Pitbulls against the Berkshire Bees.
Listen, we've got to be happy for him on his behalf.
Yeah.
Because what a result this is. In capital letters, the Bees are off the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we both?
Yeah.
Fair play to you, the Bees. Although both these teams after this, I believe, can no longer qualify for the playoffs, which is sad.
Yeah, so there won't be too much celebrating. We know that their eyes aren't going to be to be off the bottom. It's going to be to get into playoffs, and that would have been their aim all along. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be for either of these teams, but I think they've built something Certainly Berkshire have built something
since
where...
Christmas.
Yeah.
They'll give it a good old go. You know, we as are almost throughout the gauntlet and the challenge of finished 10th and
yeah.
Although we probably don't have the full picture bees watching, fair play to them for doing that. You know, and that's a real testament to them after really sad circumstances throughout the season of being so short bench, and almost you feel sorry for the Pitbulls because that's the story of their season now, unfortunately. And they were there and thereabouts. Around the 8th position, and unfortunately their season seems to have been corrupted a little bit by the amount of injuries they've had, and a sad sort of result that for the Bees.
Yeah, a bit of a sad ending to the season.
I'm sure that they'll be trying to get their heads down now and just
come back stronger.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so moving on then, we've got the Milton Keynes Lightning. They was against the Hull Seahawks, which we've just touched upon in the Seahawks reaction. MK coming away with those points, 6-2 win over Hull. Yeah, bit of a pill to swallow for us, but we'll move on swiftly with that one.
We will. Statement made.
Yeah. Then Telford Tigers against the Sheffield Steel Dogs. I tell you what, Telford have put in some hefty performances this weekend,
aren't they? And a 4-point weekend against Sheffield, coming to your rink, who are a tidy team in their own rights. You've got some really good players there, and Hull coming away to Hull, it's got to be one of the hardest places in the league to go away. With the animosity and the crowd and the physicality. It's not going to be one that you want to do. And if I remember correctly, after looking at the team sheets, I believe they only had 5 D-men.
Yeah,
I'm about 99% sure. I know they had quite a few forwards, but an absolute testament to an 8-5 victory.
Yeah, that's a big win for them, big win. And we just talked about obviously the momentum they're building, so we won't labour the point, but they really are a team to watch, I think, coming into these playoffs. So if you haven't already, keep your eye out. Moving on then, we've got the Sunday fixtures on the 2nd of March, and we started with the Solway Sharks at the Romford Raiders. 6-4 Romford. We mentioned Azza about this. So.
The second of a double header at the Shark Tank, and Raiders got probably what they deserved after a couple of tough nights on the Friday and the Saturday. They'll be happy to have gone home with 2 points, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It just shows what a good night's sleep can do for
Definitely.
you.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know how the fixtures would actually work and how they'd schedule that in, but maybe that is the key for these teams to beat Solway on their own turf. Maybe you need to have a double header for a weekend.
Perhaps so.
Stay over.
Yeah, it's got to be a hard job for the Solway Sharks to go 100%. Home and away every weekend, isn't it? So perhaps that logistically could be something that's sorted out. It may benefit everybody, really.
Yeah. Then moving on, so we've got the Leeds Knights against the Bristol Pitbulls. Bit of a heavy defeat for Bristol, 11-3. So of the double figures for the Knights. You've
got to feel sorry for Bristol, although I know I sort of poked fun a little bit at the Pitbulls last week about the 21 goals to the 20, but in all seriousness, they're running on pretty much empty at the moment. I know I actually spoke to somebody earlier on the Instagram account about Bristol, and it's a shame really to see sort of what they had to say, and they said Bristol sort of seems like a one-man band at the moment with Harwood. But, they are really running empty. It's a real shame, because ultimately you want to see everybody competing in the league, and unfortunately Bristol just don't seem to be able to do that at the moment. And I don't think that's a fault of their own. I just do think that it comes to legs, and when you've not got them, what can you do against the Leeds next side at the Castle?
Couldn't agree more. So then we had the Peterborough Phantoms against Milton Keynes Lightning. Again, a game where you couldn't have written Peterborough off, really, because they are a team that can build some momentum and can really compete with some of the bigger teams, but ultimately MK showing what they're about and coming away with a 6-1 win.
I was completely wrong in this fixture. I thought that it was going to be a 3-point. I was giving it all the 3-point weekend to MK. I don't know which way it's going to go. Could I have been any... I was so shocked to see Peterborough getting beat 6-1 at their own place, and I always go on about this sticky place to go and things like that, but 6-1 that's a real statement, that.
It is, absolutely.
We don't care if we're coming to your rink, we don't care if you're coming to our rink, we're MK, we're going to beat you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll maybe let Azza keep doing the predictions.
Maybe so, early retirement for me and Brad.
Okay, so then we had the Hull Seahawks against the Telford Tigers at home in Hull. we mentioned this in the Seahawks review, but ultimately Telford coming away with the 6-5 win in overtime. Very interesting game, back and forth, very high intensity, but
Absolutely.
Great for watching. Not a great result for us as Seahawks fans.
But let's reiterate the point that those 2 points went to the deserving team.
Absolutely. And the final game of the weekend was the Berkshire Bees against the Swindon Wildcats. Unfortunately, Berkshire couldn't get one on the board in this shutout for Anymar and the Swindon team. 4-0.
They'll be buzzing with that, won't they? And as I always says, the scores do look worse when it's it's to nil, but there's no shame in losing 4-0 to Swindon. They're a real unit, and after the night before losing to Peterborough, they'll have been itching for a result there, won't they? And on a little rink like the Bees rink is, they'll be really happy with that result, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to the standings. Currently, we have Milton Keynes in top position. They've played 48 games and are on 75 points. You've got Leeds Knights have played 47 games and are on 73 points. So, again, that's once Leeds have picked up that final fixture, they're both on the same points, and we're potentially on the same points, and we're into goal difference.
This is a real tight title race, and it's such a good watch for the neutral. It's really good. And they're closely followed by the Swindon Wildcats, who are in third position. They've played 48 games and they're on 66 points. So although they've played one more extra game on Leeds, they're not too far behind, but I think their focus now will be on the playoffs, and perhaps we'll hear about that a little bit more later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have dropped a few points recently, so they won't be happy with that, how they've just sort of fallen out of that title race potentially. And unfortunately for us, we sit just behind them in fourth position. We've played 48 and we've got 60 points, so not doing bad. Obviously, we've qualified for going into the playoffs already, so we can't drop out of it, which is a good sign. However, we've also dropped some points recently, so those points that we could have made up on Swindon are just probably too far gone now, in my opinion.
I think Matty and the lads will sort of be, patching up the wounds, and their focus will certainly be on building a little bit of momentum before playoffs. With a couple of tough fixtures ahead, we do actually have Peterborough Phantoms, which naturally we'll move on to, who are 5th in the league after this weekend. They've played 48 points and they have 48 games, and they have 55 points. So not too far behind us. If we have a couple more weekends like we did this weekend, they could soon sort of pinch us.
I'll be honest. I think this Peterborough team are going to smell blood now.
Do you think?
I do. Yeah, I think they're going to see that with Short Benston. We're maybe starting to struggle a little bit, and we're going to really have to dig deep for it.
We've got a double header against these soon, haven't we?
Yeah.
Week after next, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is a tough
one.
one.
Also got Leeds coming up, so there's potential there that we could drop points. So I really do think they're going to be smelling blood and thinking they can steal that final fourth position. Obviously going into the seeds. Then in 6th position we've got the Sheffield Steel Dogs. They've played 49 games and are on 54 points. So I would say that's pretty much set in position for them. They're going to finish in 6th by the looks of it, going into the playoffs. And in 7th we've got the Romford Raiders. They've played 47 and are on 46 points.
Not currently qualified for the playoffs as well, which is interesting. Similar to Telford, who they're in 8th. They've played 49 points, 49 games. Sorry, you new to this? 49 games, and they've got 44 points. It seems like mathematically they're not both of those teams aren't too far away from clinching that the playoff places, but Solway are going to keep fighting to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it shows, they're not out of the run yet, so you've got to take that for what it is and really try and push forward and collect them points. Unfortunately for them, I probably do think it's going to stay as it is now.
A little too late.
Yeah, so I think the current first position to 8th position are what we're going to see going into the playoff fixtures. But we've just touched upon Solway Sharks. They're sat in 9th position. They've played 48 and played and got 39 points. And then we've got the Berkshire Bees, who unfortunately are no longer eligible for playoffs. They've played 48, are on 30 points. And finally, the Bristol Pit Bulls in last.
In what?
in plumb last. Plumb last, played 48, and I've got 30 points. That rounds up the upcoming fixtures. Sorry, not the upcoming fixtures. The fixtures and the standings for the weekend just gone. Okay, so now we're going to go into this week's team of the week. Do you want to start us off with the netminder?
I will start us off with the netminder. Someone who's already featured in our Stars of the Week or Team of the Week, but what a weekend he had. It's Jordan Headley for the MK Lightning. He had a tough old weekend this week. He had Hull and Peterborough, and he came out with a 94.6 save percentage. Now, against those two teams, that is not something to wince at, is it? That is some result.
That is a very good result, to be honest. They're both really tough teams, and clearly a standout performance. So how could you not give him it?
Really important to have someone like that in the run into the for the title race, isn't it? Someone who keeps coming up with those performances. You can almost speak about Leeds and Gozzy and but it seems MK have got their own at the moment. So congrats, Jordan. You're our netminder of the week. Well done.
And moving on into our first defenseman of the team of the week, starting a Telford player, Rhodes Mitchell-King. We witnessed this firsthand. He was really good, and he managed to pick up 5 points over the whole weekend. Playing Sheffield and again Hull. So must be a bit of a theme coming here against Hull this weekend. No, but fantastic performance. Like I say, he had seen him firsthand. You could see how good he was in that position. He is effective. He got under the skin of quite a few of our players as well.
Penalties, but at the same time, they weren't silly penalties where really good. 4 points.
Calculated.
It was 4 points as well against Sheffield in that big end-to-end victory. It does seem like Telford conceded a load of goals, so it's kind of like why is a Telford defenseman in the team? But if you're pulling your team through, ultimately, I think it was at 8-5 win for Telford. Without those 4 goals, they wouldn't have won the game. So.
And to be fair to them, Telford have probably had one of the best weekends of the season this weekend. So, and he was obviously instrumental to that.
Absolutely,
so fair play.
Well done.
Moving on then, do you want to say our second defenseman?
I do, yeah. So this player only, it was only on the end of one victory this weekend, which might be of an eyebrow raiser, but he was a part of that shutout victory on Sunday for Swindon. So we've gone for Sam Godfrey, who got 1 goal and 2 assists this weekend. Mm-hmm. Although, it was a bit of a difficult one against Peterborough on Saturday. We felt that, he, again, another instrumental player for Swindon and a shutout victory with points chipped in. It's hard not to put that into the team of the week, isn't it, Brad?
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, mate, to be honest with you. So we'll move on into our first forward position. Again, I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record because it's a Telford player.
It is. Blacklisted player, this.
Blacklisted player. We'll call, should we talk a little bit about this? I'll announce him and then we'll talk a bit about it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've got David Thompson. Had a great weekend. He got 3 goals and 4 assists versus Solway and Hull. And we witnessed him firsthand. And just for what he said to Aaron, was probably why he's in this team of the week. We can't tell you because it's very explicit and it goes against the rules of the rink because it's definitely extremely banned. However,
our guy dropped an absolute bomb, didn't he?
Yeah.
People in our area, in Hull, we're known as like a noisy lot. Not us per se, but the whole fan base, and like on the odd occasion, the people around us kind of like to throw a chirp in there, and unfortunately, we was on the end of a little bomb, and as I tried to get his attention, he turned around and he dropped an absolute bomb, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Not for kids ears.
No, definitely not. We're not going to repeat that one. But well, this is purely based on his performance on the ice. We don't condone that kind of behaviour on the Slapshot Syndicate. So, David, wash your mouth out with soap. But congratulations on the performances this weekend. That'll move us on swiftly. Thank you to someone who probably didn't, drop as much profanity as David Thompson.
Yeah, but this player is, phenomenal, and he pops up all the time.
He does. This is one of the players for the Leeds Knights who doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, I don't feel. A really instrumental player. and that was Matt Bissonette.
Mm-hmm.
He got 3 goals and 5 assists this weekend against the Raiders and Bristol. And although obviously again people have said about this and that about Bristol, wheels falling off X, Y and Z, you cannot wince against that. He is an instrumental player, he's a leader for that team, and you know, you can ask, I bet you can ask any Leeds player and they'll say how important he is. So we need to give somebody who's got an 8-point weekend in 2 games, you know, a big pat on the back, because that's a real good weekend for him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there might have been higher scoring weekends, so you thought there were a lot of people on the goal sheet, but he's come away with some very, very important goals there, and you know, got a lot of assists. So he's been instrumental to their successful weekend.
Definitely.
Congratulations, Biz. And our final forward.
You're not going to do it again, are you?
I'm going to do it again, yeah.
Surely not.
Yes, I am. We definitely, I think everyone around the league's well and truly been mauled by the Tigers.
Oh, that's cringe.
So we've got Eric Henderson. He's had a 9-point weekend this weekend, so absolutely phenomenal. Again against Solway and Hull. What a performance, you know. For them points alone, you was always going to be in the team of the week, which is why we know why you did it. So nothing more to say.
There's literally no words. The 3 guys we mentioned, they absolutely came and did a job on us in Hull. And although we were short bench and things like that, you know, they've done it against Solway as well. And you've got to give credit where it's due. We're not a podcast who are gonna be narrow-minded and right, what Hull Seahawks play can we get in this week, or you know, things like that. We've got to give credit where it's due, and the Telford Tigers have had an amazing weekend, Leeds have had an amazing weekend, and MK have had a great weekend, and obviously that's shown for our team of the week, you know, all 4-point weekends, and you can't say no to a shootout, can you? So that's why God has got in there. But ultimately that wraps up our team of the week. All deserving candidates, I think, has it? Brothers, which was talking about him and his mate David, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, everybody in that team, as you'll see for our new posh graphics, has had a really good weekend. So well done to everybody.
Okay, so now we're going to introduce our big talking point this week. We've got a very interesting one for you this week, and it's a player who we've really enjoyed watching over the years, but we've also talked about before we started this how much we'd love to get him on to have a chat. It's our first proper player interview, and delighted to introduce the man, the myth, the legend,
the train,
Tyler Plews.
Tyler, thanks a lot for joining us today. It's great to have you on the podcast. How's everything going?
Yes, thanks for having me on, boys. All good here. Obviously had a busy weekend there and straight back to work today. So, just chilling out for the rest of the night now. How you boys been?
Yeah, good, thanks. A little nervous coming into this.
Yeah, big responsibility. This our first interview outside of Hull, so you know it's big. It's a big honour for yourself, Tyler. I know you've done some things in hockey, but you know,
first time on this. Nah, it's good. Go.
Yeah, no. Even when this was just an idea, we was talking about guests to get on, and you was right up there. Yeah. So, obviously, that was only a couple of months ago, so you know, for that to come to fruition now is just massive for us.
Yeah,
thanks.
But yeah, so obviously you've just come off a shut-off win away to the Bees, and as a season as a whole has been really exciting for Swindon as a team. How's the atmosphere around the team?
Good, yeah. It's been good, mate. It's been a good season. Like, it's exciting. We have an exciting team. Obviously, we fell a bit short in the league where we want to be. We wanted to win that thing, and there's a few games over the year that got away from us, but as a whole we've had some exciting games, some good results, and right now we're just got our eyes set on the playoffs.
Aye. So obviously Swindon are currently sat in third place at the moment, and you've had a strong season with some impressive wins and shutouts. Although you finished third last season, something seems to have really clicked for you guys on the ice this year, and you're obviously a lot closer to the top two. What do you think's been key to your success so far this year?
Well, the recruitment was obviously a big one this year. We've brought in a lot of different players. We've really changed our game, especially defensively. We're bringing in obviously Wellesley and Ed Bradley, and That's really changed our decor, and then having the firepower up front that we do is really swung things around as well. So we always keep the kind of same nucleus of guys every year, but adding those extra little parts has certainly made us a big threat this year. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, definitely as a fan, it's good to see as well. I know, obviously, like last year we went to Coventry, didn't we?
Yeah.
The Final Four, and safe to say we had a favourite team there, didn't we?
We did. What's hold there? Don't want your head to get too big. I want to go further into the team. So obviously, you say you've got a good nucleus, and obviously yourself, Tyler, you're one of the assistant captains of the team. So obviously, with that role, and obviously the fact that you're part of that, leading that team, part of that is obviously being known for stepping up when things get physical and things like that. Is that something that comes natural to you? And obviously, in terms of when you first was like given the assistant captaincy, was that something that pushes you on as a player, or how does that feel?
Well, growing up watching my dad, watching what he'd done, and he was a bit of a maniac back in his time, but my whole career, regardless if I had an A or a C in my chest, I was always looking out for my teammates. I've done it my whole career, and still do it now to this day. But I wouldn't say I ever go around looking for a fight or
No.
you know what I mean? But I'm always the first guy there to look after my teammates, and I'm pretty sure my teammates know that. So hopefully it gives them the courage to play a bit taller. I'm not saying tough or I'm going to fight everybody here, but I'm certainly not going to shy away from helping my teammates out. But having the A in the jersey definitely gives it that a little bit of a level step up there, and guys could turn to me for that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate and enjoy that side of the game.
Yeah. Do you feel like it gives you a boost knowing that your coach wants you to obviously lead by example, and obviously know that your team around you, obviously it seems from the outside looking in that, as a group you're so close, and, you're going to fight, you're putting your bodies on the line for each other every week, that, that everyone's going to step in for each other. Like, how does that feel? Obviously, we know that, Aaron will be backing yourself as one of the leaders, but how does that feel being part of something like that? Because from the outside looking in, it definitely looks like Swindon are going somewhere, and you can see where the next season or 2 seasons are gonna, what that's gonna look like.
Yeah, he's we're building something for sure, and I remember when Aaron asked me to be assistant captain, I was taken back. I'm just some little fucking idiot from Scotland that I was. Always been a leader my whole entire career, like regardless if I had any letter on my chest. But when he asked me, I was taken back because it's a big in general, but big especially for Swindon. I thought it was massive, but we're building something big in Swindon for sure. And I think obviously last year was a bit tough with the rink flooding, and this year we wanted to be a bit better. We've still got playoffs to go. We could possibly do that, but everyone's just buying in. We all want to play for each other. We want to play for the club, we want to play for the coach, and that makes life in hockey easier when everyone buys into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right there. It's looking at it like from a fan's perspective. Whenever we've watched Swindon, you can see your teammates around you do need you on the ice. They're looking up to you and feel like you said they can stand a bit taller or skate a bit harder, and they're free to play their own game. Really knowing that you're in the corner, but it's. You sort of see the attitude of the players, and there's this thing in teams where it's FIFA fit in or fuck off essentially. But you guys are really gelled, and you can see that, can't you? Yeah. So obviously, talking about the playoff and the final prospects, mate. In your current position, you sat really nicely coming into the Final Four, so you've got a real shot at the playoffs. How are you guys approaching this final stretch of the regular season? What's the key focus for the team?
Yeah, well, we've kind of had a meeting about this, and for any team in our situation, it's kind of a tough stretch of games because you currently ain't playing for anything else apart from the playoffs right now. Like, it'd be a long shot to say Leeds or MK are going to drop past us, you know what I mean? So right now, the idea is we take it a game at a time, we work on stuff that we're going to use in the playoffs, and we start building towards that. Each game, training session, we're working for the sole goal in making the playoffs. So like you say, it's tough right now because you're essentially playing for nothing. You know what I mean? Like we're up there. I'm not sure if we've secured third or not. I don't know what the points work out to be, but we're securing it. So right now it's just about having a bit of consistency and playing for each other, and yeah, we're just constantly building towards the start of those playoffs.
So obviously you are working towards the playoffs, but again we're talking from the outside looking in. The squad as a whole, we looked at the squad, didn't we, before we came on with yourself, and the squad's solid. You know, you've got real good attendances. The off-ice stuff looks really good. Obviously, I've been there myself and witnessed that. Obviously, Jake and Thomas and everybody else are scoring goals for fun. Like, as a player, like, and obviously I get that, you know, you've got some sort of professional standpoint and stuff, but how excited are you about the potential of the group and, you know, making a run towards Coventry and possibly winning? Because your name's definitely in the hat.
Yeah, we I think getting our feet wet last year was will help a lot. Touching back on last year, when we went, I remember warming up for the first time before the game started, and I was, for the first time in a long time in my career, I was like, holy fuck, like it's buzzing, the place is buzzing. There's a different atmosphere than a normal league game, or even a playoff game leading up to the final four. And so I get, like, maybe that's why we got beat so bad. We just weren't ready for it, and Leeds have been there before, they know. And so I think definitely getting our feet wet is going to help us a lot this year. We know what to expect. We know how to get there. And with the team that we have, we've improved on a lot of aspects of our game from last year. And we're excited because I reckon this year we're going to have a bit more piss and vinegar about us, a bit more grit between the teeth. And we're looking to prove a point and show that last year was just an unfortunate kind of game that got away from us. And we want to prove a point this year.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, mate. Obviously, you've been a standout defenseman for the Wildcats. So, as part of your own development, is there any specific areas you think you need to focus on in terms of improvement? And how do you approach pre-season coming into it? What are the main things you look to get involved in and certainly improve your game?
To add to that, I think, you know, because there has been such an obvious step up from Swindon as a group, haven't they? So, you know, is that something that, obviously Aaron will have things in place, but do you individually, you know, set out to do things for yourself? Do you reflect on your games a lot?
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm not sure if you boys know, but we get Instack back from games and stuff, so we get a full detail on games, and we get video, and obviously that's a big tool between coach and players is the video. And one-to-ones with the coach, and he wants you to do things a bit different. And for me, like, I've got offensive side of the game is probably more that I could be better on. You know what I mean? So as much as I like to contribute now and again, I'm just a stay-at-home, get that fucking puck in and puck out kind of D-man, and it's my bread and butter, and I've became good at it over the years. But you're always looking to get better. You know what I mean? And training sessions is the best way to do it. And when it comes to off season, you're just trying to get your body in a better condition for the season coming up, you know. And as much as I like to have fun and have a drink and eat food, and when it comes to the start of the next season, you're ready to rock and roll. So it's about having that balance, and always looking to get better.
Yeah, I can imagine you pick up a few knocks, don't you, during the season that you've got to try and recover from.
Oh yeah, man, all the time. It's nothing too serious, but you're ready for summer at the time it comes around.
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, to be honest with you. I've seen your stats this season, and I'm sure you've got about 15 points as a stay-at-home defender who wants the puck out. You know, you've scored a few as well, haven't you? You've scored 3 goals. Obviously, you prefer to leave that side to the other boys then.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I done way better last year. I was close to 30 points last year. I was flying a bit more. This year we've got more defensemen that can put the puck in the net, so let them. But hey, when they come up, I ain't shy from having a shot. But my bread and butter is chucking the body around, blocking shots, and just first.
So, in terms of the team chemistry, then, mate. obviously the Wildcats are clearly playing with a lot of chemistry, and we touched on that earlier. How much of that do you think comes from the leadership of the group, and how do you foster that kind of environment in the team?
Honestly, it always comes natural in Swindon. I don't think the leadership group pushes them as much. Like I say, keeping the same nucleus helps, but then when new guys come in, you speak to them further down the line and into the season, and they said, "Fuck, he was a bit wary coming in because he knew how close we all are already." And they said it was just so easy for us to become like teammates and just fit in. The start of every season, we always do a team building day. It's like a 2-day thing. Or the start of this season here, we done like a day of clay pigeon shooting, and then we done that like a team run with like obstacles to do and stuff. And then after a meal, and went out in town after for a few team drinks. So stuff went it breaks ice for new guys. But like I say, having the same group, we're a good bunch. There's no bad eggs at all in Swindon, and I think we take pride in that. We take pride in having like a really good group of guys, and that's what just makes us tight knit every year. And you know what I mean, if we have problems on the ice, we come to each other, we hash it out, and there's no cancer teammates, as in hockey terms to say. We take pride in that.
Yeah, because that can be infectious, I suppose, can't it? If you got someone coming in who's not going to try and gel with a squad, and that you have to buy into what it is you're going into. So I can fully appreciate that, mate. So if you win the playoffs then this year, I'm assuming the team building will be done in somewhere like Vegas.
Traveling the world with that cup, I'll tell you that.
Open top bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, fans there, it'll just be Swindon fans. The Swindon club will probably be, who the fuck are they?
I think, to be fair, going back to the atmosphere and things like that, obviously, Jake's come in and played amazingly, and I think he don't get enough credit as he deserves, really. But even like Vanya, like Antonov coming halfway through the season, like you can see that the atmosphere is infectious down in the rink, because Vanya's come in and hit the ground running, hasn't he? Like I think it's a credit to Swindon, really. Like you say, those team building days will obviously do a part of that, but there must be something good off the ice as well as on the ice to sort of get those boys integrated so quickly. And like I say, Vanya hit the ground running, didn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Like I always say Swindon's up there with the best, if not the best place to play. The treatment's first class. They look after you as a player, as a person first before a player, and then that's key. Like guys come in, and when a player feels comfortable, that's where you're going to get your best hockey from. So, Vanya, for instance, came in here and he knew a lot of guys. Like we played GB together, so he knew me and he knew a lot of the other guys that he played GB with as well, and it was easy for him to come in, you know what I mean? So, but like I say, when you get looked after as a person first before a hockey player, and life on the ice and off the ice is just easy.
Yeah, I mean, what's it like playing Rennie in the pipes then?
Very, buddy. I played
time.
whole entire career, apart from the 3 years we played in different teams. Apart from that, I've always been in front of him, and he's always been behind me in net, and it's easy. You know what I mean? Like the older we get, the more you start to know what he wants, know the shot that he wants and what he wants you to like take away and stuff like that. And he's just a competitor every night. You've seen him; he's one of the best goalies in the league.
Yeah, he's solid. Yeah.
Stuff he pulls off, it's like, holy shit! I'll say thank you, because sometimes it's probably me that's fucked up, and I'm like, cheers, bro. Got me out that one, but yeah, he's unbelievable, and he's just signed for another 2 years to take him to his test. Crazy, and hopefully I can do the same. I'm a year behind him, so 3 more years, and hopefully I can do that in Swindon. Fingers crossed. And the fact that we've grew up together and we've made this our home is pretty special, to be honest with you. And I never thought that 2 kids from Kirkcaldy would be down here causing scenes, so it's pretty cool, man.
It's unreal, I know. Obviously, we want to touch on the fact that he has extended for 2 years. Like, it's got to make your life easier playing in front of someone like that, surely.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, he competes every night and he gives us a chance to win every single night. And knowing someone solid is between those pipes, it makes us play a bit easier, a bit more freer. So, yeah, he's been doing a job for Swindon since he come, and I'm sure he'll be doing it till he's finished here. So he's a good.
I think obviously Rennie should and deservedly gets a lot of credit, but the defensive core as a whole are amazing. And again, you touched on Ryan Wells earlier in the season. He seems like one of the standout imports in the league. Never mind, just Swindon. Obviously, as a defenseman, as yourself, what has it been like to play alongside him? And do you feel like he's strengthened the core and been able to pass things on? Obviously, I know you've signed Ed, and you're you usually partner Jamie, don't you? But like how influential has he been, and how influential has Ed been coming in?
Yeah, absolutely massive. It's like I say, they two have completely changed their decor. Swindon's always been we've always been a big decor, and we've always just been like defense like first. We'd always move the puck to the forwards, and this year we're bringing two guys who like to carry the puck and move the puck a bit more different than what we've always had, and especially Wellesley. His skating is unbelievable. Like I've probably never seen a D-man in Swindon skate like that. In the time I've been here anyway, he's just so fluent in the way he moves the puck, and they're both great guys as well. You know what I mean? So it makes life easier in that sense. But yeah, he's been one of the best I've seen in a while in this league. He doesn't contribute as much points as maybe other guys, D-men in the league, but what he does off the puck is unbelievable. You know what I mean? And he's massive in blocking shots. You won't find many D-men in the league, import wise, who do that, or imports that block shots. You know what I mean? He's up there. Me and him we're trying to chase each other. We lead the team in block shots. Me and him, and we're trying to who can get the more.
Outblock each other.
It's pretty cool. But he's unbelievable, and like I say, Ed as well. They're just two very, very dynamic D-men and very offensive, and they've certainly changed our core for the good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could go on, and you've got some amazing players in that team. Glenn, Aaron, Chris, Ed, Jamie, and the rest. The squad has so much depth at the minute. But is there anyone you feel goes under the radar that doesn't get enough credit?
God, we can rattle a few there. Definitely our fourth line with Lipper, Shawsey, and Jono. They've actually been one of the most consistent lines we've had all season. Like they go under the radar like you would never know. They get put on the ice to get us going and get their feet going and move, and they do a job for us, man. They probably don't get as much credit as they deserve. And probably in the back end, young Jamie Smith. He's every year he's progressed, and he's just a big steady D-man. He's a big kid, man. He's way bigger than me. I'm like, oh god, you know what I mean? But every year he's getting better, man. He's finding more confidence every year, and yeah, I feel like there's a few of those guys that go under the radar, and they're a huge part of this team and the success that this team has.
Good answer, mate. So obviously, as assistant captain, we've talked about how you take that with pride and you leave everything on the ice with the lads. But how tough is it to keep morale high after a bit of a loss? Say you come to Hull, for example, and the boys have done a bit of a job on you. Are you going to tell?
We wish.
You don't think so? Yeah, to be honest, mate, I like to be loose. When it comes to game time, you're pretty switched on. You're ready to rock and roll. But after, I like to keep it loose. I like to keep the boys loose. But we always make sure that, like, yeah, if we lose, it sucks. We hate it. We don't want to do it. It's not what Swindon we're built to do. We're built to win here. But if you lose, mate, it's be pissed off. But we're not going to sit there and like cry ourselves home. You know what I mean? It's going to rattle us. We're going to be pissed off, but we're just going to try and keep, you know what I mean? Try and keep smiling. We'll move on to the next one. You know, that's always been kind of the idea of it. And we like to play cards on the bus, and regardless if we win or lose, we're going to play some cards and keep it light, you know, keep the boys like kind of buzzing about it. So, like I say, I like to be the guy to pick up moods and just be a fucking idiot sometimes, and you know, just have a laugh. And yeah, we're usually good at that. You know what I mean? We always strive to win regardless, but you know what I mean? We don't ever take it home as much. You know what I mean? I try not to. I don't know about other guys, but it's the greatest sport in the world. I love playing it. It's gave me a life, but I don't want to take it home and piss off anybody in this house, my girlfriend, you know what I mean? So I try and leave it at the door when I come in.
And I guess that's part of the reason why you know you've got that. You know, we've mentioned how influential you are on the ice, but you know that kind of attitude and you know trying to pull the lads up is so important. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of it anyway. So obviously we are in the business end of the season, aren't we? And obviously the playoffs are coming up right around the corner, really. We've only got a couple more weeks until playoff hockey's amongst us, which is what we're all waiting for. So you mentioned earlier, obviously, that could be the main goal. Is that now the main goal in final stretch? Build some momentum towards the final. Do you not reckon there's a late surgence for the top spot?
Leeds and MKers, they're such good teams, mate. I can't see them dropping much points, honestly. Like we've dropped even more recently, and yeah, they're just too good of two teams, you know what I mean? So yeah, right now it's just about preparing and getting ready because the playoff hockey is a whole different animal. It's a bit more, like I said earlier, a bit more piss and vinegar, and everyone's kind of jacked up and ready to kill each other. So it's the most fun. You can feel it in the air when it's the first game. Like, I remember the last few years it's been, you really do feel like, fuck, we're ready. This playoff hockey, it's faster, it's more contact. Everyone's trying to fucking run each other here and time. So yeah, right now we ain't set out to lose here. We're going to try and win the rest of our games. You never know, but right now our eyes are set on kicking playoffs the right way and making that Coventry weekend.
Can't wait. You got me all excited for it now. So obviously as we move towards the end of the season, then have you got any personal goals you're working towards? What do you want to see out of yourself as you come towards the business end of the season?
Other than most block shots.
Yeah.
Get that. Just staying consistent. Like that's probably the biggest for me. Like I'll have a stretch of good games, and then sometimes I'll have a couple bad ones, and it really gets to me. But just staying consistent, especially through the playoffs, you ain't got much room or much margin for error. And yeah, personally staying like that, and for the team staying consistent, you know. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. You can't change too much towards the end of the year. Just try and stay healthy, be healthy, and yeah, get this big body ready for some fucking contact that's about to come.
The train is
chewing.
Looking for some, but it'll be good. It's we're all excited, not just me, the whole team. We're ready for it now, and yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Cool, sir. Have you got any advice for any aspiring hockey players? Obviously, you've played at the top level in the NIHL for years now, and you know if you look at some of the young guns coming through who are playing your position, what would you say they're looking for following that path?
Yeah, I mean, I always say to kids who start playing, like, have fun first. When you don't enjoy hockey, there's no point playing. You know, we ain't here to be. Like, I ain't getting rich off this. You know what I mean? No one's becoming playing hockey in this country. You play it because you love the sport, and you're here to have fun and work your bag off. You know what I mean? Like, work it off. Find what you're good at. Whether you're obviously in your own respective position, being a forward or D-man. If you're a D-man, just find what you're good at and work on it, and yeah, make that your thing. Make it as good as you can be, and yeah, just strive to be as best as you can. That's it's tough. I look back when I played, and I'm like, what would I tell myself now? But yeah, I just put my head down and enjoyed hockey, and took whatever criticism or constructive criticism came my way, and here I am now, still chugging away, and hopefully can play for longer. So
yeah. So We always like to finish things up with a few light-hearted questions. So, if you don't mind telling us, what's something most fans probably don't know about you off the ice?
Oh, don't know about me. Don't know. That's a question. That's a good one.
Would you say you're relatively open book?
Partial to, I love a good series on Netflix, but I'm partial to crushing Friends every night. Friends.
Yeah.
Love it to bits. I remember what Johnny Gaudreau talking about on his podcast I listen to, but I love Friends. I can watch that stuff all day.
Yeah, you've got two fellow Friends fans here as well, mate. So, if you weren't playing hockey, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Hopefully, I like to play a bit of golf. I'm not sure I'd be very good at it or make a living from it, but I'd still be back in Scotland anyway, so that life would be a bit different. We've been down in Swindon, but never know, mate. I've always been like to be like in the. So I'm a glazer by trade, so I do that, windows, doors, conservatories and stuff. But I always liked being like doing handy stuff with woodwork and stuff like that. So I probably would have done that if I wouldn't have moved down here. Because the only reason I do this job now is because I moved down here and found a job doing it. So life would be way different. It'd be crazy different.
Yeah, I've got a final question for you.
Oh.
Actually, have you got one?
Second to final, I've got one as well. Come on, stop hogging the limelight. Eh?
If there was any player you could play with in our whole team at the minute,
Come on, bro.
who's it going to be?
Be subtle, man. Come on, in our whole team.
And your whole I played one before. There's only one guy that I'd want to play with, and that's Balms. Who do you think I was going to?
Go on, give us a little bit of insight about that, Tyler. What was it like playing with Deck?
Deck, man. So obviously he had that short little bit in Swindon, didn't he, when he came to us? And he was my D partner. And he's a great guy off the ice, and on the ice it was fun because when it was me and him like together on the ice, there ain't much guys fucking about when both of them. I remember one time it was kicking off at the end of a game or during a game or something, and it must have been like between periods, and I was like, I was kind of shouting stuff at the team, and I looked to my left, and Declan Balmer was beside me shouting as well, and I looked to my right, and Sam Billis, Bulldog, was beside me on my right, and I was like, fuck it out.
I can just step back here.
Yeah. You feel taller. I was like, look at these boys. I was like, wonder what they're thinking in front of us. He's a good guy. I like him. Like, we play hard and we give it to each other when we're against each other. So how it should be. So
I bet there weren't too many lads that was looking forward to lining up against you two, was there? Because they're either getting squished or they're getting punched out.
He plays the game the way I like it played. So I respect him a massive amount.
Well, my question was similar to Brad's, but it was a little more subtle. I was going to say, so obviously, you know, we are at the business end of the season, and you've played everybody umpteen times. Is there any notable players that you've played against this season where you thought, God, you know, they've given me a game here, or, you know, is there any particular players that you think I'd love him to play in Swindon, or, you know, you'd love to play alongside maybe?
I thought that this year a lot of the imports have improved throughout the league. I thought that massively. There's a couple of imports that Romford have. I thought that Miller was really good.
Miller, yeah.
I thought they were two really good players. Even when that Sam Tremblay, like the imports, like I say, they've all improved. But like this year, I thought they were quite exceptional. The guys that are brought in, that's Sam Tremblay and. Yeah, I thought maybe them three are just probably the players that caught my eye pretty fast. Or even say, what's his name? Sommer.
Walker Sommer.
Sommer, that's it. Yeah, Sommer. Yeah, he was. I mean, it's improved every year, and this year is even better. So seeing them guys is pretty high in hockey.
Great stuff. Right, Tyler, thanks for taking the time to join us. Do you have any final words for any Wildcat fans out there who have been supporting you and the team all the season?
Appreciate the support every year. It doesn't go without notice, and get buckled up and ready for playoffs because we ain't satisfied till we win. So let's do it.
I've got one more thing for you, Tyler.
Yeah.
What we're usually doing on the podcast when we've had Matty on and a couple of others is we always ask if you're able to say, my name is, and you're watching the Slapshot Syndicate. Would you be able to do that for us?
All right, sweet. My name's Tyler Plews, and you're watching the Slapshot Syndicate.
Buzzing! Love that.
Let's go.
Thank you, mate. That's amazing.
How cool is that?
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed our big talking point, but now we're going to move into the upcoming fixtures for the weekend. So starting off on Friday night on the 7th of March, we've got Swindon Wildcats and the Berkshire Bees. What do you reckon?
I really wanna stick up for Azza in spirit, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a hard one for the Berkshire Bees this weekend. You know, they're out of the running now for 8th place, so are they going to play for pride now and sort of try to disrupt Swindon's push for playoffs, or not push for playoffs, but to build momentum.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, how can you count Swindon out against the Bees?
No, I don't think, unfortunately, it'll be too hard for Swindon. I think they'll come away with this win relatively easy, and it's against the Bees, so it's not too far from them. And
one thing that I've just thought though, what happened the last time the Bees went to Swindon's rink?
Yeah, very true.
Do you remember that overtime win?
Yeah, very true.
I don't think it'll be the same story this time.
It's possible, but unlikely. So
yeah, I'm going to personally back the Swindon Wildcats this
Same.
weekend.
Yeah, me too.
I think that we're both agreed on there, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that'll take us into the Saturday fixtures on the 8th of March. The first fixture of the weekend.
Yorkshire Derby.
Leeds Knights versus the Hull Seahawks.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to predict because we like to back our own, but obviously we know that we're short benched. Mm-hmm. We know how important this league is to Leeds and how important it is that they don't drop points. So I think it's going to be a really, really challenging one, if I'm honest. What have you got for this one?
I agree. We've got Bones back this weekend, which is a positive. And we had a couple back in training. I think Matty said, Stubbs and Spurs, they are too far away. I personally think Hull are really, really going to want to spoil Leeds' title charge.
Oh, absolutely. For us to be the ones that do that, for MK as well, I think.
Is that a little bit of a runners-up medal sort of thing for us? If we can't have the league, you're not having it either.
Yeah, I reckon so. It's going to be an interesting bout, to be honest with you. So we'll see how it plays out. Personally, I am going to back the Seahawks because, if you look at the teams across the league, I'd say we're the ones that are most likely to beat them because of our record against them.
At the Castle?
Yeah.
I agree, the Seahawks do love a game at the Castle. A lot of fans travel there with it only being an hour away, It can make for an interesting atmosphere. I'm going to go the opposite side for you, just because I just don't see anybody stopping Leeds at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of goals they're putting past people, solid performances. Look at their team, point out a weak link. There isn't one, is there? They've got lads coming out of the backside, the 4 lads in the cup final with a bunch of youngsters who look absolutely quality,
Yeah, and he's your favourite Ollie and the Cots in that team as well, so I'm sure he'll put in a performance. Alex absolutely loves you if you're watching.
It's true.
Yeah.
I do.
Alright, well, we'll move on there. So I'm going to go for the Seahawks, you're going to go Leeds. Okay, then we've got the Solway Sharks against the Swindon Wildcats, so bit of tough travel on that Saturday. I think, looking at the fixtures, it's Swindon's last game of the weekend, so they've not got a game every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just the Friday, Saturday, so I do think they'll be bang up for this one. Get a bit of a rest on the Sunday. They know that they're going to be able to travel there, have a day off maybe. Swindon for me.
I'd like to back the Sharks in this situation just because, they'll have had another week at home ice again. They've proved to be quite effective on home ice. And let's remember that they've got to win every game now if they want to be in the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, Swindon are in town and they are no pushover. Let's be fair.
you think this is going to be the Solways farewell to this one?
I don't know how it'll work mathematically. I don't know whether this will be their swan song. However, I don't think they'll be far away, and I do think Swindon are going to get the win. So I think we're agreed on that one.
Okay, then we've got the Sheffield Steel Dogs against the Telford Tigers. This will be an interesting game. Very interesting. You know, we've talked about Telford all night, it feels like, but we've seen how gritty and determined they are at the minute, and if they can build that momentum against Sheffield, that'll be a big result for them.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to back them. Yeah. To be honest, yeah.
The reverse fixture as well, interestingly, of last weekend with the 8-5 victory for Telford. You know, I think Sheffield will, you know, I can't say that Sheffield will have loads and loads of momentum going into this playoff, you know, sort of time. They need to start pulling the socks up a little bit, and I think on home ice, although Telford came and did a job on us last weekend, I'd like to see, you know, Walker Sommer and Finn Ulrich's been back in the Steel Dogs lineup for the last couple of weekends, I believe. And
we say this every week though about the Steel Dogs, and it depends on the personnel they've got available, and it makes it really hard to predict because with a full strength squad, you would probably back them in quite a lot of situations, but you just don't know.
You don't know what you're going to get. That's so true. That being said, with you back in Telford, we always like a bit of controversy, don't we? Yep. I'm going to back Sheffield. I'm going to back the Steel Dogs. But again, I think it'll be something similar to last weekend. Really high scoring, quite physical. I think they'll get up for it. But on home ice, I'm going to back Sheffield. I think it'll be maybe like a 6-5 or something. Something high scoring.
Okay, moving on then. We've got the Bristol Pitbulls against the Romford Raiders. Probably earlier in the season I said this would be a relatively difficult one to call.
Agreed.
I don't think it is as much now. I think.
Agreed.
I think Romford are going to come away with the points, and it might be relatively easy for them. I'm sure Bristol won't want to make it easy for them. I just think they're maybe out of gas now, and Romford have got more to play for.
Yeah, I agree. As a Solway Sharks fan, this is not a fixture that you want to see in favour of Romford, is it? No. You know, with them occupying one of the playoff places at the moment. Yeah. I think it'll be a comfortable win for the Raiders, unfortunately.
And the final game on that is MK Lightning against the Peterborough Phantoms.
What happened last week, Brad?
Yeah, I know. It's a good.
And now MK are on home ice.
Yeah, I think MK. Do you know what? I tell you what though, how interesting would it be if we did beat Leeds and Peterborough beat MK?
I know. You know what though? This is a real good weekend for the title race. This because obviously Leeds have us, MK have Peterborough. You know, those are two really tough games, and obviously on the Sunday I don't think it gets much easier. You know. A couple of teams for both of those who, you know, can sort of rock the boat a little bit. I'm gonna go. See, I'm one of those who really wants like drama and stuff in the title race, and a part of me wants to back Peterborough. And, you know, they've had real good results this year, but on home ice, MK slapped them 6-1, and they'll have a fire in the belly now to get back to them, but. Ultimately, with 2,000 strong in that MK, ring, I think it's going to be a tough ask for him. So I'm going to back MK personally.
Yeah, I agree. I do think MK will do it. I think they see a real opportunity this weekend. I think they'll know that it's not going to be easy for Leeds coming to us versing Leeds this weekend, and we're going to the Castle to
potential
to
banana skin.
Potential banana skin, and they're going to know that they really have to deliver on this. So don't think they'll let it out of the grasp. So that concludes the Saturday fixtures. We're going to move on to the Sunday fixtures on the 9th of March, and we start with the Romford Raiders against the Milton Keynes Lightning. Just going to say now, I know they're relatively local to each other, but I think MK will come away with this one. There's going to be no stopping them.
I think it'll be a comfortable victory. I think if they can get past Peterborough on the Saturday night, they'll be their morale and the feeling around the camp will be absolutely flying. And personally, I think, you know, it could be a tough all night for Romford on that one, so I'm going to agree with you and comfortably say that short little trip across London, MK are going to beat Romford Raiders, in my opinion.
Yeah, so then we're going to move on to the Hull Seahawks against the Solway Sharks. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend for this game, so you're going to have to keep me updated with what's going on.
We're falling apart here, the podcast. Azza's gone, Brad's not coming to Seahawks.
I'm in Iceland. What can I say? I'm going to see the Northern Lights.
For anybody who,
Not the shop.
I'm more of an Azza man personally. But, with the podcast falling apart, guys, any applicants who wants to be, substitute hosts or, we've got a season ticket here. If anyone wants to come to the game on Sunday, I'm going to be on my own, aren't I? I think Azza will be back for that one, so that'll be good. But, yeah, shocking from you, that, mate.
So on to Hull Seahawks versus Solway Sharks. What do you reckon? I'm gonna say Hull Seahawks. Don't think we'll be able to let this weekend out our grass, and I think it's time we start building a bit of momentum now. We're gonna start seeing players come back into the squad. Hopefully, might take them a game or two to get back to match fitness, but I think if Solway have a really bad couple of games and they don't get out of that final spot, it's going to be difficult for them, and I think we'll put it on them. We have to be able to maintain them points that we've got on Peterborough. So
yeah, it's a tough all weekend for Solway, really, with them having us and Swindon. I think if Swindon go there and they get a bit of an hammer in or something, or maybe not a hammer in, but if Swindon give them a good game, then they come down to us and they get an equal. Yeah. It can go one or two ways, really, Brad. I think if we get beat by Leeds and Solway get a result against Swindon, like last weekend with Telford, it could be another one of those banana skin games, where Solway might come down and get something from us.
Yeah.
Equally, if we go to the Castle and we get a result there or something like that, or we can stop Leeds' title charge or something like that, I think the boys will be absolutely buzzing with that.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the Saturday. In my heart and my head, I'm going to go for the Hull Seahawks.
Good. So then we'll move on to the Peterborough Phantoms and the Sheffield Steel Dogs.
Interesting game this, right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Difficult. More difficult than I thought, to be honest. Obviously the games before are going to come into play definitely, and with Sheffield Steel Dogs having Telford, that's not going to be an easy game for them, and Peterborough have got MK. It's going to be even harder for them, I would think.
Both teams licking the wounds.
Potentially. I'm going to say though that Sheffield probably going to have it a little bit easier on their Saturday night. I don't think Peterborough are, so I'm going to back Sheffield here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Away.
I do. I think they're going to come away with him.
That's an interesting one. I feel like every fixture me and you are doing, we're disagreeing.
I know.
Aye. I think Peterborough. I think if they get an hammer in against MK, they're not going to want the team that are below them to beat them, are they? In terms of the playoffs and stuff like that. Like the likelihood is that these two could they could end up facing each other. So
I agree, but as much as we talked about Peterborough might be able to smell blood with us dropping off a little bit at the moment, Sheffield could as well. So
very true, and what a better team to sort of go for than Peterborough.
Yeah.
If you're just a little question here, if you're Sheffield, would you want to take Peterborough's spot and end up potentially against MK, Hull, and Telford, or would you want to stay where you are and potentially play Leeds, Swindon, and the Raiders?
I don't know, because I feel like to be the best, you got to beat the best, aren't you? So I think in that team you're going to play the best, and if you do get to the final four, it's going to feel so much more deserving, and it won't be as much as a surprise when you get there.
Yeah, either way, it's going to be a hard job.
Yeah. I'll go Sheffield. You go Peterborough. Then.
How about Peterborough?
And then we've got the Telford Tigers against the Leeds Knights, and as much as I would like to back Telford in this situation,
don't do it, Brad.
No.
Not after how many times you mentioned them tonight. Surely, come on.
I do think they will, as Robbie Williams says, come undone here.
Nice.
And the Leeds Knights will take the points. I don't think it will be an easy game for them. I don't think they'll turn up. I don't think they'll give them an hard game, and I think Leeds will find it much harder than they will anticipate. But ultimately, they've shown that class is permanent, and they'll get them for me. What do you reckon?
Another tough all weekend for Leeds with having Hull and Telford. If they can get through this weekend, I can't see anything stopping them. So I'm going to back you. I'm going to back what you just said there, Brad. And I'm going to go for a win for the Leeds Knights. Although going to Telford and trying to get a result there is no easy feat. So this could be possibly, in terms of the title race, this could be the one to watch this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so the final fixture of the weekend, we've got the Berkshire Bees against the Bristol Pitbulls.
I'm going to throw it out here. We're going to have a new trophy this weekend.
Battle of the bottom.
Oh, close. The Battle of Plum Last.
Yeah,
Who's getting the wooden spoon?
God,
The wooden spoon with Battle of Plum Last.
I'm so sorry, it's so disrespectful.
Azza will be absolutely spitting feathers when he watches this back. Sorry, Azza. Sorry, Bees. Sorry, Bristol.
Don't worry, Az. I'm going to do you a solid. I'm going to back your Bees in this scenario. I do think they'll turn the Pitbulls over. So, yeah. What do you reckon?
You know what? I backed the Bulldogs last weekend, and what happened? They got absolutely turned over by the Bees, didn't they? Bees went to Bristol, and I thought this is an opportunity for Bristol to sort of get a little victory before the end of the season, and the Bees absolutely turned them over 5-1. So I'm sorry, but I can't back Bristol here, especially going to the Bees. Their small little rink and things like that, as Tyler said, and he said it was an hard place to go, and they could only put 4 past them. So I'm going to back the Berkshire Bees here. I think they're going to be really looking forward to this one.
Interesting weekend coming up. I'm gutted I won't be around to watch any of it live, but
one positive though, you could be the first person to ever stream a Hull Seahawks game from Iceland.
Could be, yeah. Okay, so that rounds up the upcoming fixtures for the weekend, and that's the end of our podcast this week. We hope you enjoyed the content. Big thanks to Tyler Plews again. We really appreciate the views, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions you guys are giving us, and we really want you to keep it going, so feel free to drop us a comment, give us a note, slip into our DMs. We're all ears, and yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah. Again, I just want to reiterate what Brad said, a massive thank you, and if you're enjoying the content, be sure to give us a subscribe, be sure to share it about. It means more than you expect, and in the comments down below, let us know who you'd like us on next. Tyler was kind enough to come on, but we have been, again, as I said it last week, we've been in discussion with other players. Who would you like to see on the podcast? And I'm sure if they're seeing your names, that it might push them in that direction. We're always looking to branch out and speak to other people and all aspects of hockey. We absolutely love it, don't we? And so does Aaron. And to have Tyler on was massive for us, and just the same as Matty and all the other opportunities that we got. So we do really appreciate it, and we obviously appreciate you guys for tuning in, because without you guys, we're just a couple of guys with a couple of cameras, aren't we?
So yeah. Let's keep this train chugging. Thanks for watching, guys.